It's showtime.
What's up, guys? Django Fett here, back with another awesome Mandalorian podcast. Joined once again with my buddy, Captain Awesome.
Hey guys, what up?
And our guest, Darwin.
Hello, everyone.
So, guys, please be sure to check out their channels. Links will be down below in the description, YouTube and Twitter and everything else. So, today we're going to be talking about the top 5 TV shows of 2017 that we enjoyed. So, me and Darwin are going to go back and forth. I'm going to start with Darwin first. Cap hasn't seen as many TV shows as me and Darwin haven't. So, he's going to give his input in between. So, alright, Darwin, why don't you start with your number 5?
Okay, my number 5 is The Walking Dead. You know, first, I'm just like a newbie to the show because, you know, I didn't know about it at first and kind of stuff. But yeah, I enjoyed some seasons, some episodes. I enjoyed some of the characters. Just sometimes it goes a little bit downhill. The show, in the new season yet, but so yeah, that's my number 5.
Yeah, I've been behind on Walking Dead for a while, so I think I stopped after season 3 because it just got too much for me. But yeah, people says still going strong. So
yeah, I would have to completely disagree with some of those people because I watched the show up to date where it is in season 8, and it's fucking terrible. Like the writing, the direction, the action, everything about it, the character development, it's all over the place. I feel like Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan and a few of the other characters are the only real good things in the show, like the saviors. Besides that, everybody else is boring, and the show has dragged on for too long and needs to fucking end. That's my thoughts. So yeah.
Alright, so my number 5 is a show that I think many people have not even heard of, but it came out on Netflix and it's called Mindhunters. So this is a really interesting show to me because it describes the minds of the killer, based on the 70s, with 2 FBI agents trying to explore the psyche of a murderer and what goes through their mind when they, want to do serial killings and all this other stuff. So it's a really interesting show, and I think it was pretty successful in season 1, so there could be season 2 next year. So I'm pretty excited for season 2, but I think this was like one of the most underrated shows of this year so far, and looking forward to the future.
I definitely would check that out. Sounds very, very interesting. Like, as you said, the whole 70s thing and the cops and all that stuff and everything. It sounds quite like, how would you describe it? Would you say it's a kind of psychological thriller or something? Or like, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say it's a psychological thriller, and they do have like the 70s theme with the cars, the sets, everything, the clothing, and it fits perfectly. It's just a phenomenal show.
Well, I definitely need to watch this then. Don, what's your thoughts on the show that Django just mentioned?
That show sounds really interesting. I think I will watch it when I have the time for it. So, yeah, it sounds like a good suggestion and recommendation to watch.
I'm pretty much a Netflix addict, so I watch anything on Netflix. So
that's Django on Netflix.
Pretty much. Darwin, you're number 4.
I enjoyed this one personally, but I know some people didn't enjoy it. And Marvel's Iron Fist, based on the Marvel comic character Iron Fist, of course, played by Vin Jones. Yeah, I enjoyed it, for what it was. Maybe not the best Marvel Netflix show, I have to be honest with that one, but at least I enjoyed it. Maybe it got a little bit like over the top with every time Danny says that he's the immortal Iron Fist, but it's a writer's soul in that part. But yeah, but I enjoyed for what it was. It was not the best Marvel Netflix show. I enjoyed it, so I'm happy with that.
At least you acknowledge it's not the best examples of a Marvel show, so I'll give you that. I haven't
watched the show, so I don't know. So yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I just personally did not like the show as much as I was like Rotten Tomatoes when it came to it.
It's kind of divided, isn't it? Iron Fist quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to fans, Yeah.
So, very divisive show, but it did have some positives, in my opinion, but I just didn't see it as the best example of the Marvel shows of this year, which I will get to a little bit later. So my number 4 is Stranger Things Season 2. As someone who actually got into Stranger Things a little bit late with Season 1, I loved it. It was based around the 80s, has these kids trying to find their friend who was in another dimension or so. But I think it became an instant classic, and everyone just loved it, including myself. And as someone who just loves the 80s, when it comes to the clothes, the movies, the TV shows, the style of it all, and especially the music, this was made for me. So when I heard there's going to be Stranger Things Season 2 coming out like a couple days before Halloween, I had to watch it. I had to be on top of my game this time. And it was pretty good. It was a really good season of Stranger Things. I'm not going to say it's better than Season 1 in my opinion, but I still think it's very, very good and pretty entertaining overall.
For me with Stranger Things, I sadly have not watched that show. Everyone keeps telling me to watch it because they said it's fantastic. Yeah, I'm a little bit like Django. I, grew up loving movies from the 80s and music. My dad used to play, 80s songs in the radio in our car all the time. And I'm hearing it's quite, horror and science fiction by what I hear. It's,
yeah.
So, those elements I like too. So I think it's that type of show I probably will incredibly enjoy. So can't wait to watch Season 1, and I'm glad you enjoyed Season 2, Django.
Darwin, your thoughts?
I haven't seen both seasons yet, but it sounds interesting, and I would definitely watch one at a time. And maybe I'll fall in love with it.
Basically, if you love The Goonies, you're gonna love this TV show.
Well,
Okay.
I do love The Goonies, so yeah.
Plus, one member of The Goonies is actually in Season 2. I will just say that.
Okay, now I'm really hyped. So, yeah.
So I'll just say that. Number 3.
Let's see. What was my number 3 again? Oh yeah. Well, this one was the team up one that we had a build up to. Marvel's
I saw what you did there. Yeah.
Well, at least it had a build up, unlike some people. If you know what I'm saying.
DC.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. I wanted to be subtle about it. No, Mr. Death has to be like, throw it out there.
Yeah.
The Defenders. I like that they bring the characters together. It's cool to see them work together. I thought it was kind of, according to rumors, it was going to be shorter, but it wasn't that short. I liked it for what it was. It's great to see all the actors working together. Villain was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of odd, but at the same time, but the show was cool. But
Yeah, so my thoughts on The Defenders. So I liked it, but I didn't think it was all building up to this, and I just didn't feel like they didn't put out as much as I anticipated. I wanted more, basically, and I feel like the execution, the action, I felt like elements of it weren't perfected to what Daredevil was, or other examples of the Netflix action-oriented shows. I felt like it was just missing something in my opinion, but I did like it, but I did feel like there's a ton of flaws.
With The Defenders, another Marvel MCU Netflix show I've not watched, god damn it, missed out a lot this year. But when it comes to The Defenders, yeah, I've kind of heard it's another one that's a bit mixed on people, but what I've heard, like, some people really love it, some people liked it for what it was, but were kind of disappointed by it. I was really excited for it, obviously, because, I loved Daredevil and Jessica Jones. So, as Darwin said, I can't wait to obviously see the characters in live action together for the first time. But obviously, by what I've heard by everyone, I'm not going to, let's say, have my expectations too high to the point where I think it's going to be epicness and everything. But, I'm excited to watch it when I get the chance. So, yeah.
So, my number 3 is Narcos Season 3.
Ooh.
Another show that came out on Netflix, and
You Netflix addict.
I'm a Netflix whore. What can I say?
Yeah.
But basically with Narcos, this is actually after Pablo Escobar So I thought that this would probably be the worst thing that comes out for Narcos, but actually it ended up being one of the best seasons. I wouldn't say it's better than season 1 or season 2, but I still think it's a pretty great season overall because it's about the Cali cartel in Colombia, and one U.S. agent trying to basically take them down. And it's pretty intense overall, and it's just like how seasons 1 and 2 were. Like, you were literally on the edge of your seat, seeing if the the agents are going to take down this drug cartel, and if the drug cartel is influencing the embassy in a way to benefit them. So it's some pretty intense and scary stuff, and I just really liked the direction they were going, and can't wait for season 4 because it's gonna be a different location and pretty damn intense. I'll just say that. I will also say this too. There was actually one member who was actually shooting one of the scenes in for season 4, and he actually got killed during the making of it. So
Oh wow.
yeah, it's pretty intense. So they might actually push that back for maybe not next year, but maybe 2 years. But yeah, when that stuff happens, it's fine to be pushing it back. And I mean, safety is the most important thing when it comes to this. Okay, you don't want to risk your life over anything when it comes to that.
Yeah, indeed, agreed.
So Cap, your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts on Narcos, I've always been interested in this show. Like, everyone keeps telling me about it, like, you've been telling me about it, everyone in general we know has been telling me about it, how good it is, how consistent it is. It's about Pablo Escobar, by what I've been told, and, the Colombians and all that stuff. So, it just, I don't know, there's something about the trailers and the posters and everything about it that just, there's something about it that's quite compelling. So I am very excited to watch this. Plus, Netflix does bring out a lot of great shows. So, and I've always liked, kind of watching and reading into the whole, drug lords and gangsters and all that type of stuff. I've always been fascinated by that type of stuff. So, yeah, I would definitely be down to watch this eventually when I get the chance. So, yeah.
Well, what I think of, what I have seen of trailers and stuff, I only seen the trailers going by on YouTube. It looks interesting. It looks cool. Something that I will, will watch when I can, and an interesting show. So yeah.
Your number 2.
Well, my number 2 is maybe it's an anime, and it's Dragon Ball Super. Goku and his friends are back for more fights and that kind of stuff, and it has some interesting sagas. The newest saga, the Power Tournament. Ooh, there's a lot of things going on. Now it's getting more epic. It's getting more interesting. I think it's also getting closer to the end of this saga thing for anyone who haven't seen Dragon Ball Super yet. So I will say check it out if you're an anime fan or a Dragon Ball fan. Just go check it out, or not, but it's up to you.
Well, my thoughts, obviously, Dragon Ball, because obviously, this year I made a huge comeback, obviously behind the scenes for people that don't know, that I made a huge comeback when it comes to anime. I grew up loving anime when it came to Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Dragon Ball Z. That was one of them. And, I've heard a lot about Dragon Ball Super. I've heard obviously mixed things on it, but by the sounds of it, it does sound like they have some really cool, interesting sagas going on with Goku and the rest of the gang and stuff. So I'm very interested to get back into that anime. Anime, rewatching it this year, it's been incredible. Watching animes like Attack on Titan, Sword Art Online, and many more, My Hero Academia. So I'm glad to be back into watching anime, and thank you, Darwin, obviously, for recommending, Dragon Ball Super to me, because I definitely will check it out, as I was quite a big Dragon Ball fan back in the day.
Yeah, it's been a while since I watched Dragon Ball in a while. I mean, the last one I watched was Z, and that was years ago.
Yes, I am.
But yeah. I grew up with Dragon Ball Z as much as you guys. Yeah. I haven't seen Super just yet. It'd be hard for me to catch up because there's already 100 something episodes, so there's a lot of catch up to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of commitments.
Say at least Super is more canon than GT. Oh, shots fired!
And we know how great GT is. So I might give it a shot. I might check that out for sure. Yeah, sounds pretty interesting.
Do it now, y'all.
Come on.
So. Come on, do it.
All right, so my number 2 is the Netflix horror. I must say this one again. Another Netflix show. The Punisher Season 1.
Oh, God damn it.
Holy shit. This was incredible. By far the best Marvel show I've seen this year. And the best Marvel Netflix show I've seen since Jessica Jones.
Ooh.
This thing is brutal as anything. I would say it's the bloodiest Marvel show I've seen yet. It's not an action-packed movie, TV show, as you think it is. It's more development into Jon Bernthal as the Punisher. And from his betrayal in Season 2, he did an excellent job. But this, he is truly the Punisher right here. He captures it perfectly. I cannot see anybody else as the Punisher. And for once, they don't emphasize that his family gets killed. Like, they show that event over and over and over again, like with the other films and so forth. They only, show glimpses of that, but try to see how he copes in real life. And it's mainly how he deals with the, repercussions after, his family gets killed and how he deals with that. But it's pretty powerful stuff. I really like the side characters too. I was really surprised by that. The character of Micro, I have to say he's probably one of the best supporting characters I've seen in a Marvel show in a while, if not the best.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have to say that. He's just a very likable, down-to-earth guy, but he's trying to be with his family in the end. But he's a very likable character. I really like him, as well as, what's his name? Ben Barnes, who plays as Russo. He's the friend of the Punisher, and he is just an amazing betrayal overall. And wait till you see the villains as well. Holy shit, you're in for a treat when it comes to the villains. I love this show so much, and definitely recommend everybody go out to see this. I only watched the last episode like a couple days ago, so you guys definitely gotta watch it.
Yeah, I remember going into 2017, there was the free Netflix shows Iron Fist, The Defenders, but The Punisher was the one I really badly wanted to watch. And after Jon Bernthal's performance in Daredevil Season 2, which was incredible, the way his entrance was badass, the way he carried himself, the dialogue with Daredevil, everything about... And plus, I knew he was going to be a great Punisher in it from the days The Walking Dead as Shane in that TV show, so... The guy's just a terrific actor, and I'm just really, really excited to see, obviously, this show for myself. Obviously, I have a lot of catching up to do with some of the MCU Netflix shows, but this one, let's just say, by what you've described and what everyone's describing, basically about Punisher, it sounds like a Punisher fan's dream come true. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it really is. Darwin, your thoughts?
I haven't seen Punisher yet, but what I hear... great, and Jon Bernthal's performance from Daredevil Season 2 was amazing, so I cannot wait what he does in the Punisher Netflix series. Being about someone complained about the violence in the show, I heard, read somewhere, I was like,
yeah,
this is the fucking Punisher. Hello, it's called the Punisher for a reason. Have you ever read the comic, you fucking morons? I'm sorry, but I hate those people who complain about never read the source material or whatever. So, yeah, sorry, I had to have my little rant there.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
But yeah, kind of wait for it, and it sounds like a good recommendation.
Yeah, and I hope there's like a season 2 of this, season 3,
as
many seasons as needed for Jon Bernthal as the Punisher, because I think I would never get bored of this. And I think the only problem I have is the marketing. I feel like they marketed Defenders and Iron Fist more, but when it came to the Punisher, I feel like there was a lot less marketing.
Yeah, that obviously, I could kind of understand the Defenders, because that's the crossover event, but it is true, I think, they should have marketed it at least a little bit equally with Iron Fist. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have some problems here and there with the show. That's to be expected. There's no perfect show out there. But overall, I really loved the show. Alright, so we're down to the number 1 TV show of 2017. So Darwin, what's your number 1?
Well, this one I watched on Netflix. I didn't even know the show existed actually at first, and it follows Nick Burkhardt, who's a descendant of the Grimm, and he can see like people, Boca, Vesson, and a lot of stuff is going on, like the parade, the royal family. A lot of shit is going on, and it's a great show, and I would recommend it to everyone who haven't known or never heard about Grimm. I would just recommend it to everyone. Watch it on Netflix. It's an amazing show, and I'm a big fan of it, so I really like the show.
Yeah, I mean, with Grimm, I haven't really delved in, but I heard some great things about it. So it sounds like a pretty interesting show.
Yeah, like I watched the show as well. Like I haven't finished the last season, but I'm mostly up to date, and the show blew me away. It was like kind of like a supernatural detective show, similar to the likes of Supernatural. So if you're a fan of that, definitely you'll enjoy the hell out of it. It's kind of like the dark version of fairy tales. It's very, very good. It's got likable characters. It's got some creative episodes. It's very, very good. And gotta admit, like as Darwin said, it's one of those shows where when you first look at it, you're like, what the hell is this? But then you watch it and you get, you start binge watching it and you really get into it. So it's definitely, check it out, guys. It's a fantastic TV show. Very underrated.
All right. So my number one is Game of Thrones season 7. But here's the thing about this season, though. It's probably the worst season of Game of Thrones. and that's the thing, and it's still my number one TV show of this year. That shows how great Game of Thrones is. There were a couple problems I had with it. Well, maybe not more than a couple, but a few issues I had. But first off, it's close to the end. This is the finale that the next season's is building up towards. And there was a lot of stuff, crazy stuff that happened, as to be expected from Game of Thrones. The CGI is it looks better than ever. Bringing back characters that we thought were, goners, and just building up that story arc to have that big collision. It was great overall. But the thing is, they condensed the episodes down to 7 instead of 10. And it feels crushed. Like, it almost feels like it's just condensed instead of like just given some room for like 10 episodes. Your thoughts, Cap?
Well, this, everyone's going to be like, wow, finally, this was a show I actually did watch. This was a TV show I actually did watch this year. And I think I can kind of agree. I enjoyed, obviously, Game of Thrones Season 7 a lot. Like, as usual, I always enjoy Game of Thrones. But I did have some issues, and I feel like, as you said, because it was only 7 episodes instead of 10, some of the story and elements kind of felt rushed throughout it, and it's like, yeah. And some things were, some things weren't really as done as good as it could have been, but the show still was incredibly visually entertaining. The loot attack episode where, Daenerys' army goes against Jaime's army was fucking incredible. Obviously the Night King at the end, the cliffhanger and all this other stuff. Like, even as you said, even though it was like probably one of the least good seasons of Game of Thrones' TV show's history, it was still very entertaining and compelling all the way through. And I'm still very hyped for the final season next year, and I can't wait. But I do agree, it's not the most perfect season, but it's still really good in its own way, and it's better than The Walking Dead. That's one thing I'll say. So, yeah. I'm sorry, The Walking Dead has like one good episode every million years.
Carl!
Carl! So, yeah.
Sorry, I had to do that.
Darwin, your thoughts on Game of Thrones?
Shows I haven't seen yet. But I heard a lot of good things about it, and I think a show that's interesting if you're interested in something like Lord of the Rings kind of style, sort of. The show looks interesting and looks great. I have a lot of catching up to do with these two as well, because these two have seen the show more times, more than I have. So
it's all good, Darwin. You'll catch up eventually.
Oh, trust me, his mind will explode when
Yeah.
he sees most of the things in there. So holy shit.
For me, when I watch a show, I'm pretty expressionless when I watch movies and entertainment in general. But when it comes to Game of Thrones, when I'm like totally into it, and if I see something like shocking or surprising to me, I will jump up in the air and just yell like a wild man. Like, I'll go crazy.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm serious. Like, I'm just like, my reactions are just gold when it comes to Game of Thrones.
It's very good at getting a reaction out of people. Let's just say that. So yeah.
Yeah. So that was our top 5 TV shows of 2017, guys. Final thoughts, guys?
Well, some of the shows that are mentioned in this podcast, I'll have to watch for myself because I haven't seen those.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, some of them sound like good recommendations, and I already seen. So, but yeah, I think that was a fun podcast. So yeah.
My final thoughts. Yeah, half of the shows I've actually watched, like Grimm and some of them, Game of Thrones and stuff. And I obviously love these shows for what they are, and I can't wait to see obviously the final season of Game of Thrones. Grimm, I need to watch the final season, so can't wait to watch that and then talk about it with everyone we know. And the shows I have not watched, Stranger Things and everything else, Dragon Ball Super, the anime, and whatever else we've mentioned. I cannot wait to watch all of those anime/TV shows because they all sound very interesting, especially The Punisher. So yeah, hell yeah, bring it all on, and I'm very excited to get into new things as usual. So yeah.
This year was another great year when it comes to TV shows. Definitely looking forward to next year, 2018. Should be another great year, you know, with Westworld, Game of Thrones, you know, all the Marvel Netflix shows and so forth. There's plenty out there to discover for next year, and it should be another great year.
Yeah, I loved Westworld season 1, and I can't wait for season 2. So I agree on that. Yeah.
Still need to see that show too.
God damn it, Darwin! You need to watch that one as well. Add that to the list. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah, so that was our thoughts of 2017 TV shows. Let us know what your top 5 is in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for joining me, as always.
It's a pleasure as always.
And guys, please be sure to check out their channels. Links will be down below in the description. Don't forget to please like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel Django Fett and to their channels as well. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Yeah.
See ya.